You read the title. I am just going to talk my shit. The first 3 John Wick movies are good movies. Sure, they're not completely logical or make total sense, but they're action movies, and if you want to watch an action movie, you gotta suspend your disbelief to an extent. The original trilogy strikes a nice ratio between badass and stupid. For the most part, I'd give it like a 7-3. More badass than stupid. But the 4th movie takes that scale, it takes the ratio, and it replaces it in favor of a big heaping pile of ash. It becomes so ridiculous that it feels like an insult to anyone who ever liked John Wick. Like the writer is almost parodying it out of hatred. I'll start with the more blatantly obvious issues like the jumping to your death and the immortality before I talk about the real issue, which is the story. There are a number of times when John Wick should have died in the first 3. His bulletproof suit is used to the fullest extent of its narrative convenience, having him get shot like 1,000 times. The cars in John Wick all have airbags in their bumpers, for John and pretty much no one else. At one point, he throws himself down a flight of stairs just to prove that he can. They can be pretty goofy movies. But there is no mechanic that is more goofy than the falls to the death. This is only really used once, but it's still a joke. His friend shoots him off of a 16-story building, and he straight up breaks his ribcage on the way down. To the 3rd movie's credit, at least there was some kind of debris in the way of his fall, and he does actually appear injured and he takes time to recover before the 4th movie. The 4th movie does it twice. The first time, it's just straight up concrete, and the second time, it's the hood of a car. And he doesn't show any visible damage or take any time to recover. He just gets up and keeps fighting. I mean, what the fuck? At the start of the movie, he's recovering from a fall. When does he become immune to fall damage? I could go on all day about the bullshittery of the mechanics in this movie, but I want to move on to the real problem, which is the story. Story. If you've seen the movie, I want you to ask yourself, what happened? Can you describe the movie without sounding like a human vegetable? The story to this film has as much significance as the story to Joker 2, the musical. And you can't even make a video on that. That's just a punchline that starts and ends with the words Joker 2, the musical. You want to know what happens in Joker 2, the musical? It's a musical. They sing. You want to know what happens in John Wick 4? It's an action movie. They fight. Who's fighting? It doesn't matter. How many people are fighting? It's a lot. A lot of people fighting and fucking recording it. There used to be a story. The world had rules and gimmicks. And the 4th one just takes all of that and shits it out the back. In the 2nd movie, John becomes a wanted man, meaning he can't take planes or make other people accomplices. Can't do a lot of shit. He tries to make it right in the 3rd movie by finding someone who can help him. So he goes on this whole side quest to find him, travels to another country and tries to meet his conditions, but in the end he finally fails to meet it. Side quests, begging on your hands and knees to go to Morocco. Why don't you just teleport there? Why would he go back to Morocco in the beginning of the 4th movie? So that he could collect a ring that he left? And shoot the replacement actor for the other guy too. Okay, that makes sense. Where does he go next? Japan. Why? Because it's cool, and why not? The whole movie is a collection of cool places to shoot a fight scene. There's this bad guy who's out to kill John Wick, and he has to travel to a bunch of different cool locations and fight people. Oh, and he dies at the end, as a final fuck you to anyone who enjoyed the series. Even if you try excusing it, it doesn't make any sense. Let's say the whole teleporting thing is as a result of the Bowery King's help and the homeless people. That would mean the New York Homeless Syndicate has private planes to fly John around, and also owns private plots of land to land those planes in every country that John so happens to be in. If the homeless dudes had that kind of power, they would be running homeless people across the planet. Wouldn't that have been mentioned at some point? There's no excusing it. I'm assuming the movie sucked so much because the original dude who wrote the first 3 handed off control to 2 other writers for the 4th one. I forgot the fucking John Wick thing was gone. If you also hated the fourth movie, you can look up those two writers who ruined it. They are the person who made the Hitman Agent 47 action movie and Day Shift with Jamie Foxx. They hired generic action movie writers to write the fourth one, and now we have a movie that is just complete nonsense. So, yeah, fuck these people, and have a nice day.